On November 23, 2022, the European Parliament recognized Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism. This was a response to the Russian army's full-scale invasion of Ukraine and occupation of Ukrainian territories. 2 months before that, Putin announced the annexation of Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk and Luhansk regions. At the end of 2023, he promised that Russia would invest more than 1 trillion rubles annually in the restoration of Russian-occupied territories. Both before and after that, the Kremlin announced huge amounts of money that were allegedly spent on the development of cities destroyed by the Russian army. Experts believe that all these funds settled in the pockets of Russian officials and occupation administrations. After all, no reconstruction ever happened in the Russian-occupied territories.
The economy is destroyed. People's everyday life has been destroyed. Water supply, electricity supply, work of enterprises, and unpaid salaries in institutions that are financed from the federal budget. Even branches of the occupation administrations have problems with it.
There is no money in the Russian-occupied territories even to maintain critical infrastructure. For example, workers of boiler houses in the occupied territory of Donetsk region have been without salaries for several months. The Russian occupation administration is forcing people to write applications to waive their debts.
As a result, the boiler houses are not preparing for the new heating season, which is supposed to start in a couple of weeks. Most heating networks are in disrepair, and boilers are not in working order. From the publication on the website of the Center for National Resistance.
From 2024 to 2027, Russia plans to spend almost 1.3 trillion rubles on restoring the territories of Ukraine temporarily occupied by Russian army, Ferry Daily reported, citing the draft federal budget. For comparison, this is 6 times more than will be spent on the development of Far East and 22 times more than is planned to spend on the North Caucasus.
In 2024, 350 billion rubles will be allocated for the new territories, instead of the previously planned 232 billion. In subsequent years, spending will also increase. In 2025 and 2026, 638 billion rubles will be spent instead of 421 billions. In 2027, the amount will increase by another 302 billion rubles. From the Moscow Times publication.
Russians themselves are offered to tighten their belts. The new draft budget envisages a sharp increase in housing and utilities rates for the citizens of the Federation.
From July 1st, 2025, electricity in the Russian Federation will rise in price by 12.6%, gas by 10.3%, and the total payment for utilities will be indexed by 11.9%. Tariffs on communal services for the people will increase twice as much as it was planned a year ago. In addition, rail passenger transport fees will increase by 11.6% from the new year. From the Moscow Times publication.
In 2025, the Kremlin is going to spend more than 13 trillion rubles on the war against Ukraine. This is 6.3% of their GDP. Overall, the budget envisages higher expenditures and a bigger budget deficit than in 2024. Experts explain that inflation and price growth are inevitable in such situation. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Victoria Smirnova, UATV News.